Hi, good evening. Good evening to everybody who's watching tonight's show from Linden Tree's show from near and far. Tonight we are welcoming back Tret Fure, and this is a continuation of our 36th season that was started at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Wakefield, Mass. In 1985. Tonight's show is also being co-sponsored by two other members of the Boston Area Coffeehouse Association, the Ivy Cord Coffeehouse of Reading and Lakeview House Concerts in Sharon. And a huge thanks to Brian Dozer and Wendy Dennis for tonight's help with the technical aspects of streaming. And again, also thanks to the Massachusetts Cultural Council, the Wakefield chapter, who believes in our venue with its support in part for several years now. Now, before we have Tret sing to us, we have a special musical tribute to Linden Tree Coffee House. It was written by Wakefield's Kevin Moore, who, when he walked into a Linden Tree show one cold night when he was in high school, he suddenly knew what he wanted to become, a songwriter. The song he wrote recently, called A Church Without a Steeple, was completed just a few days before Ed Britt, Linden Tree's longest-serving volunteer and sound engineer, passed away from Alzheimer's in March. Ed, the man with the banjo, was also a noted banjo designer of an old banjo, a banjo historian, and he also won several old-timey banjo contests. Britt recognized Kevin's talents, and Ed was one of Kevin's heroes. Wakefield photographer Bob Tanner's photographs are a fabulous addition to the song. Music can change lives, and this video is proof of that. So, A Church Without a Steeple by Kevin Moore with photos by Bob Tanner. Take it away.
Something drew me to her, old, bruised and battered, cold winds and a warm open door. I was softly spoken when she tore my heart open with tales I was never told. The basement held a full house and a voice selling memories, and the man with the banjo knows that the sound's just important as the words in the music, and he'd follow wherever she goes. I was only a child, my eyes wide and wild, in a room where the listeners know I was welcomed like family by all the fine people in my hometown of Wakefield, in this church without a steeple. And I only want to play for you a song that I wrote her to on the old stage at Linden Tree. Sang from an angel's grace, her voice was a woman grace, and her strings were the choir above. My eyes began to water with all that life taught her, and the life she had once dreamed of. She sang about love and an old baseball glove, and the whole room seemed to know the tunes. Showed us our fears, and how could he leave her, as she sang of Matilda too. I was a wandering young kid, my hair kept my face hid, in a room where the listeners know I was welcomed like family by all the fine people hometown of Wakefield, in a church without a steeple. And I only want to play for you a song that I wrote or two on the old stage at Linden Tree. I've grown and I've missed her. It's been years since I've kissed her, and the old room still looks the same. I can see familiar faces, I can still feel the traces of a young boy forever changed. And the man with the banjo smiles because he knows his old songs will always remain. Good night, all you fine people in this church without a steeple. And good night, my old linden tree. Yes, good night, all you fine people in this church without a steeple. And good night, my old linden tree.
Thank you. Wasn't that wonderful? It just makes me smile, makes me cry. It's a wonderful thing. And thank you, Kevin, and thank you, Bob, for putting that all together. And thank you to Brian for making it work. Now, although there isn't any entry fee for tonight's show, Tret does have to pay her rent and her utility bills. So it's pay what you can. Suggested at least 10, 15, 20, whatever you can. Hundreds would be wonderful. We do have, she has her Facebook page and her PayPal. Linden Tree does not. We do take checks made out to Linden Tree, and then when I get them, I do then send on to the performers. So that's another way to do it, and we'll put that into the chat. And now we're going to have more memorable music. We're happy to have Tret back to entertain us. She's released 17 albums and CDs during her career. She's a gifted songwriter, winner of several songwriting awards. Her latest release was well received with the title song Stone by Stone, a somewhat autobiographical look at love through the lens of time. Tret is truly a Renaissance woman, and I'm really happy to be able to present her to you again tonight. So grab your favorite beverage, curl up on your favorite couch. Up close, personal, Linden Tree Coffeehouse will be making memorable music. And welcome back to Wakefield, Tret Fure. Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. It's a pleasure to be back. And that was a beautiful video. And what I love the most about it is it shows what live music is all about, you know, especially folk music. Playing with the ones, playing with your friends, playing with people you love, playing music you love, and doing it in front of other people. And I'm so anxious to get back to that myself, but it's still a little bit of a ways away. So for now, thank you for hosting me, Liz, and the Linden Tree. We tried to do this live for the last two year and a half. I was scheduled to play on Liz's birthday last year, May 30th. But of course, we had to cancel, and we rescheduled for May 24th. And of course, we had to cancel that too. So we finally settled on a live stream date. And I am so happy to be back. I've played once, and it was a fantastic evening in 2017, September of 2017. I played to a packed house there up in Wakefield, and it was wonderful. And I look forward to coming back there live. But in the meantime, here we are. Thank you for joining me. And let's start by singing together on this song. It's called Afterlife, and this is your part. Here we go. Afterlife, afterlife. We're sitting here wondering what comes of afterlife, afterlife. That's your part when it comes around. These step outside, you just don't know. You step outside, you just let go. And in that movement, and in that fall, and in that instant, it all comes to a halt. Afterlife, afterlife. Sing with me. You're sitting here wondering what comes of afterlife, afterlife. You're a little off, you're not yourself. You're a little off, you call for help. So it's off to the doctors, off for some tests. It turns out to be more than just bed rest. Afterlife, afterlife. You're sitting here wondering what comes up. Afterlife, afterlife. One foot in front of the other, one life longing for more, one kiss blown to the one you love as you turn to choose which door will be the door. So you're on the plane, you're flying somewhere, you're on the plane, you're slightly scared, a little bit turbulent, a little rough air. You're holding your breath and saying a prayer. Afterlife, afterlife. You're sitting here wondering what comes up. Afterlife, afterlife. One foot in front of the other, one life longing for more, one kiss blown to the one you love as you turn to choose which door will be the door. So you get in your car, you're on the road, you get in your car, you're headed home. Suddenly headlights are headed right at you. Somebody lost control. Afterlife, afterlife. Sitting here wondering what comes up. Afterlife, afterlife. One foot in front of the other, one life longing for more, one kiss blown to the one you love as you turn to choose which door will be the door. Afterlife, afterlife. You're sitting here wondering what comes up. Afterlife, afterlife. You're sitting here wondering what comes up. Afterlife, afterlife. Thank you so much. I hope you all sang along with me. We should all sing about the afterlife because we have no idea what it is. And I wrote that song. That song is on my latest CD. I'm doing many songs from the new CD and also Roses in November and a new song. But that is the first song on my latest CD, Stone by Stone. And I wrote that after my stepmom passed away, 3 months after my father passed away. And there was just a string of deaths in my family. And it made me think about the afterlife and what comes. What does come after? Who knows? But it's something to think about. And I wanted to share, for those of you who are not familiar with my shows, I tend to share photos, mostly family photos. And I want to show one photo that has to do with that song. And to me, it's a very poignant photo. This is my father and my stepmother a few years before they both passed away. They were sitting, waiting at my niece Anna's wedding. And it's just a very poignant shot because it's like, what are they waiting for? You know, I mean, I just love this shot, especially after what happened. But it's like, are they waiting for that That Train, That Last Train, which I will also sing about. So moving from that into my father's life and the lessons that my father taught his children and himself as well. An amazing man, my father. He lived. He was just short of 100 years old when he passed away. Avid golfer. Golfed almost every day of his life once he picked up the game in his 50s. He lived to golf. He just loved golf. And he had to stop playing golf at 98. 98. Because he had the shingles so badly, it was too painful to play. But he played, and he was legally blind for 25 years. Didn't stop him from golfing. He learned to play with his peripheral vision, and he had 6 holes in one after he went blind. But the shingles put an end to it, unfortunately. So my father had a younger brother. We all gathered for my father's 98th birthday. It wasn't on his birthday. It was during the summer to celebrate his 98 years. And that's when I wrote this song. And I wrote it because my Uncle Bill, this is a picture of my dad at 98, and his younger brother, Bill, who I think was 94 or 93 in this picture. Do they look like 90-year-old men? Amazing family. He is the keeper of the family history. He wrote poetry. He wrote beautiful stories about the family, and I found some of the stories, and they went into this song about their childhood, growing up on the farm, growing up loving baseball, growing up loving to dance, on all the things that those Minnesota farm or Iowa farm boys loved. So the first time I played this for my dad was at that reunion, that gathering, and you could see how much he loved the song. This was the first time I played it for him. Then he put in his hearing aids, and I played it again. But truly, beautiful man, loved the music. Excuse me, I just hit my thing. And one last photo before I start is me and my dad playing golf. 2000, 21 years ago. So he was like almost 80, and I was almost 50. So this is the tribute to a life long and well lived. It's called Lessons from a Home Plate. My daddy was so cool, first in the family to high school. He'd never rest till he aced each test. Baseball was his golden rule. My father loved the game, big town hero with small town fame. He'd block the plate, seal the runner's fate. Baseball was his middle name. Keep your eye on the ball, keep your feet firmly planted. Take that swing when the pitch feels right. Trust your instincts, trust your truth. Hit that ball just like Babe Ruth. My father taught us lessons from home plate. And my daddy was so neat, and his temperament was soft and sweet. A boy well groomed, the girls would swoon. His dapper ways and dancing feet. Out in the Chevrolet, off to the dance the band would play. He'd spin and twirl those pretty girls, and he'd dance a swing to the light of day. Keep your ear to the beat, keep your feet firmly planted. Take that dance when the song feels right. Trust your instincts, trust the air. Swing that date like Fred Astaire. My father taught us lessons from home plate. and his golf game is still fine. 6 holes and 1 since he's gone blind. 18 holes, 98 years old. Sound of body, sound of mind. Keep your eye on the ball, keep your feet firmly planted. Take that swing when the wind feels right. Trust your instincts, trust your creed. Hit that ball like old Sam Snead. My father taught us lessons from home plate. My father taught us lessons from home plate. My father taught us lessons from home plate. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, in 2018, July of 2018, here I was going to show you this picture too, because this is my dad as a young man, and this is all the girls wanted to dance with this guy. Very, very handsome man. In the summer of 2018, he really was not feeling well, and he went in for some tests, and just like that first song said, they ran some tests, and it was more than bed rest he needed. He never went home again. His cancer had returned that he had survived 25 years prior. So he was in August. I went to see him. He was in a rehab. After they took him from the hospital into rehab, he refused treatment because he said, I've lived a long and beautiful life. I'm ready to go. But he wasn't quite ready to go. And I went to see him with my oldest brother and my nephew Cameron in August. And we said our goodbyes because we didn't think he was going to make it past that month. But he rallied. Not enough to go home, but he rallied because his beloved Brewers were going to be in the playoffs. And he wasn't going to go until he saw his Brewers win the World Series and his Packers win the Super Bowl. But the Packers got beat in a wild card game, so they were out. But the Brewers went 7 games against the Dodgers. And this was early on. This was when he was still in the rehab center, and I don't think the playoffs had started. But this is my dad dying watching his Brewers on TV. Look at that smile on his face. He just loved baseball so much. And he watched every game towards the end. And when they moved him to a hospice care, my niece and nephew Danielle and Justin brought him a TV so he could continue to watch the game because he didn't have that at the hospice care. And he was able to watch every game. Towards the end, it was too hard for him to sit up. And my stepsister, who was with him a lot, would give him a play-by-play. And this is a picture of him near the end. Still, though, smile on his face, watching his team play. Loved his team. And so when they lost in the 7th game to the Dodgers, he knew it was time to go. And he went on his way. Just one more game before I go. Just one more chance to see a home run from my favorite team, my favorite game. Before I board the one-way train across that great divide. I know I'm walking the thinnest line. The doctor told me I had little time. At 99 it's fine to be on my way. But all I ask for is one more game. I can't wait to hear the play-by-play as I awaken grateful every day. And I remember every player's name. But all I ask right now is one more game. just one more game before I go, just one more chance to see a home run from my favorite team, my favorite game, before I board the one-way train across that great divide. Score by score and pitch by pitch, a right field catch from a home run hit, the crack of the bat and the ball in play. Oh, how I love that one more game. I've got my father's cap, his cribbage board, a favorite memory of a great golf score, his joy in the game and his competitive streak, and a love that runs so deep. So just one more game before he goes, just one more chance to see a home run from his favorite game, before he boards the one-way train across that great divide. Thank you. So, my dad grew up on a farm in Winnebago County, Iowa, which was right on the Iowa-Minnesota border. And he left home to go into the service, went to college first, Rake College in Iowa, and then joined the Navy during the war. And my grandparents, when they retired from farming, moved to the closest town to the farm, and that was a little town in southern Minnesota called Keister, which just is an unfortunate name for a town. So many of my family members. Oh, that's not to me. No. So many of my family members lived in Keister or around that area. Small little town. They lived on one end of Main Street. And my cousin Kenny, who they were 11 children in the family. The last two were twins, and my grandfather used to say we knew it was time to quit when they started coming in twos. But they also raised their first grandson, Kenny. And Kenny had a pool hall, very famous pool hall on the other end of town, of Main Street. This is Kenny and his pool hall. Great guy, great pool hall. Just it was the town center. My grandfather, in his retirement in his 80s, was the breakfast cook at the pool hall. We lost Kenny, unfortunately, at a young age to Alzheimer's, long before Alzheimer's was really a common disease. But we would go there every Memorial weekend, and I am going this weekend because of the 11 children. That my Aunt Burdell is the only one left now, and she is about to turn 100 in December. And they couldn't celebrate her 99th birthday because of COVID, because of the pandemic. So they're holding the family reunion, and we're going to have a cake for Burdell's 100th birthday. But we used to stay in Keister. We'd go there for the family reunion every weekend. And in the young days, we'd have a picnic across the street from Grandma's house in the park. And this particular year, my grandmother, my Italian grandmother over here, wait a minute, I've got this backwards. Over here is my Italian grandmother. This is my Norwegian grandparents. This is my Uncle Nick and my mom and dad. That was the only year that both families, because my nanan was from New York, they came to Minnesota to be there for the reunion. And just, one of those fabulous moments you never forget. But I wrote this song when I was moving from Oregon, where I'd lived for 17 years and 13 years in LA before that, back to the Midwest. I was moving to Madison, Wisconsin. And I was driving a Ryder truck pulling a car, and I wanted to shoot some video of Keister, because I had planned on doing a video around an older song, a different song of mine about my grandparents. And I just didn't want to see anybody because it was a really rough time in my life. So I thought I'd sneak through town and take some footage. And of course, you can't sneak through a town of 700 in a Ryder truck pulling a car. But everyone was very careful. Nobody came out and disturbed me, and I got the footage I needed. Unfortunately, I never did put that video together. But it just brought back to me those memories of staying at Grandma and Grandpa's house in the summers. Now, across the street in that same park, every summer when I was a kid, they would set up a roller skating rink. One of those wooden structures with wooden wheels. And I would sleep on the porch at my grandparents' house. And I would listen to the music and the sound of the the wheels dancing across the floor to songs like "It's been a blue, blue day. I feel like running away. I feel like running away from it all." I always remember those times. I turned off of 90 south on 22, heading down the 2-lane into town. Driving a Ryder truck, my car in tow behind. I think I might have passed my uncle's farm. And I'm on my way to somewhere new with an urge to glimpse the old, see if Grandma's house is still the same. With a movie camera as my eye and wonder as I go, capturing my past in moving frames. And don't you know, behind those curtains and all those weathered panes are whispers, there are strangers on the street. And if I had the strength of heart, I'd knock on all those doors and find out what it's like to never leave. My grandma's house is standing, I almost see her standing too. And here it's been a blue, blue day from the park. And though the roller rink has come and gone, the theater's lit up bright, I'm quite surprised it hasn't gone dark. And Kenny's pool hall isn't there now, and he has long been gone, and the family still owns Grandma's place. Well, I drove away before I had the nerve to ask around, but at the time there were things I couldn't face. And don't you know, behind those curtains and all those weathered panes are whispers, there are strangers on the street. And if I had the strength of heart, I'd knock on all those doors and find out what it's like to never leave. Well, I can't imagine what it's like to live one place and never leave, to live your life in just one town, to have no chance to move away, or maybe never want to. So I tell myself that I'll go back, and this time really stay, and look into the eyes of my family. And I'll ask them all to tell me tales that I have long since lost. I hope I have the sense to fill that dream. And I will sit behind those curtains and all those weathered panes, and I won't be the stranger on the street. To hear the stories from the heart and open up old doors and find out what it's like to never leave. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, now we'll move for 4 minutes to the other side of my family, to the Italian side. And there's my PayPal link right there on the page for you. I will talk about that too in a bit, after this song actually. So this song is about, this is also from the latest CD. The last one was from Roses. And this is about my mother. Since Mother's Day is coming up next weekend, I wanted to send this out to all mothers. My mother-in-law is here tonight. My mother is long gone, unfortunately. But she left me this. And how many people have these old tin measuring cups? This was the standard 50, 60 years ago. And this my mother had for as long as I can remember. And before. I know she had it even before I was born. It's very old. And I've got it. It was one of the things I wanted when she went on her way. And I was able to get it. And the song came about because I was teaching a songwriting workshop. And the exercise was to find a treasure, not a hidden, but a family treasure. And write a song about it. But first write a letter as if that person were writing you about that gift that they were giving you. So this song is written from the point of view of my mother. Now, in many ways, I have fulfilled many of my mother's dreams. My mother was an incredible singer. She was a nightclub singer. Well, she was a big band singer, I mean. In Yonkers, she sang with, it was like the Charlie Shaw band, not the more well-known Shaw. And she did that for a hot New York minute, but it really wasn't her. Like, she loved to sing, but that lifestyle was not hers. She was also a very good painter, a very good artist. She did beautiful charcoal and drawings and painting, and she gave those things up to get married and raise 4 kids, which was her dream. And so her passion then was cooking and that measuring cup. And this is my mother, so happy in her kitchen. I think it was Thanksgiving or Christmas. She's basting a ham. Looks like there's some dressing on the stove and a pan full of potatoes probably. She loved to cook. And these are the gifts that she gave me because I love to cook. I love to paint. And I am the singer that she had hoped to be. My dear daughter, you kept that old tin measuring cup, the one that I so treasured that I couldn't quite give up. I used it most of my life, and it suited me just fine, measuring my ingredients, leveling to the line. My dear daughter, it was so dented and so worn, but I used it every day before even you were born. Like an old friend I could count on, it was something clearly mine, but the thing I failed to measure was time. I kept it all those years, now you keep it on display. I didn't want to part with it, I used it every day. It measured love and life and food so fine, but for you it measures the passage of time. The passage of time. My dear daughter, I'm gone 27 years, and I know that when you hold that cup, your eyes well up with tears. Now it measures all the many ways you've grown, a testament to all you've done and all the things you know. I kept it all those years, now you keep it on display. I didn't want to part with it, I used it every day. It measures fine. But for you it measures the passage of time. The passage of time. The passage of time. Oh, time. My dear daughter, you've lived any of my dreams. A singer and an artist and a good cook, so it seems. When your time is done, I hope you also pass it on to Austin or your daughter or your son. I kept it all those years, now you keep it on display. I didn't want to part with it, I used it every day. It measured love and life and food so fine. But for you it measures the passage of time. It measured love and life and food so fine. But for you it measures the passage of time. The passage of time. The passage of time. Oh, time. The passage of time. My dear daughter. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to retune, and while I'm doing that, I know Liz mentioned this at the top of the show, but this is now how artists make a living. Those who are able and willing to do online shows. It was a struggle at first, getting good sound, getting audiences to believe that you could do a show online, feeling comfortable not hearing applause and not seeing people's faces. But we have adapted, and I actually enjoy doing it. I only have, though, like 2 or 3 more shows after this, and then I'm going to take a break for the summer. Not a break, but I'm doing a few festivals and a few workshops, the few outdoor things I can do. But then in the fall, I have nothing again because venues are not opening up yet. Hopefully they will, but a lot of folk venues, including the Linden Tree, are housed inside of churches, and often UU churches. And churches are not opening yet this year, most of them. We don't know exactly when. So this is how we make a living, in which I know Brian has posted this, but I like to show my very sophisticated piece of paper here. You can donate, as Liz mentioned, any amount would be great, to paypal.me/Tret-Fury or Venmo. My Venmo account is Tret-Fury. And if it asks for the last 4 digits of my phone number, just bypass that. You can bypass that. So anything would be very much appreciated because, yes, it pays the rent and the utilities. This is a brand new song. I've only played it twice so far online, and I'm quite fun. It's fun. I'm quite fond of it, so I'm going to share it with you tonight. It's called Peanut Butter Toast. Wait a minute. The cable's got to be down. A little bit more down there. There we go. Well, the side door opens and you walk inside and say, hey, baby, what you doing? You've been in so many meetings that you're bleary-eyed. And say, hey, baby, how you doing? It's cold out there, won't you come to me? I'll hold you till you're warm in the center. I'll hold you all through the winter. It's been the longest year that has ever come. I say, hey, baby, don't you think it? 12 months and counting and we're still not done. say, hey baby, don't you think it? I went down to the corner just to get away, but I ran right back to your embrace. I had to see that smile on your face. So give me a little of your coffee, give me a little of your time. Make me some toast in the morning, put a little peanut butter on one side, and I'll give you a little of my love, and I'll give you even more of my heart. Make sure that you write me a letter when we next find ourselves apart. 'Cause I don't ever, 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 ever want to lose your love. How about we go down to the sushi bar? I say, hey baby, wanna do it? Put on a sweater and get in the car. I say, hey baby, wanna do it? We can sit at the counter where there's no one else and have a little bit of private conversation, the closest thing to a vacation. So give me a little of your coffee, give me a little of your time. Make me some toast in the morning, put a little peanut butter on one side, and I'll give you a little of my love, and I'll give you even more of my heart. Make sure that you write me a letter when we next find ourselves apart. 'Cause I don't ever, 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 ever want to lose your love. Well, everything feels the same, even though everything is new. You and I are the lucky ones. You've got me and I've got you. Well, pretty soon we'll be swimming in the deep blue sea. I say, hey baby, wanna do it? Take off your mask and jump in with me. I say, hey baby, can you feel it? We'll remember these days, we'll remember those nights, 'cause we never really want to forget. It brought us closer together, you bet. So give me a little of your coffee, give me a little of your time. Make me some toast in the morning, put a little peanut butter on one side, and I'll give you a little of my love, I'll give you even more of my heart. Make sure that you write me a letter when we next find ourselves apart. 'Cause I don't ever, 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 ever want to lose your love. No, I don't ever, 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 ever want to lose your love. Thank you. I've got to get rid of this message. Go away. There we go. Software updates are not needed during a show. Thank you for that. This song is a Dark to Light song. I wrote this in the middle of our darkest time, the 4 years that Trump was in office, and all the dark and negative things that went on in those days. They have not ended, but we are in a much better place, and with a much better administration, and a much brighter future. But there's still a lot of darkness, difficulties around us. But we can change those things. I was minding my own business, chasing demons in my head, while the devil was afoot, feeding off the dead, stripping off the tasty bits, devouring the best. Just a few things I need to get off my chest. 'Cause mindlessly we turn away, the heart is stopped, the skin is cold, as we watch this tragedy unfold. And endlessly we turn our backs as the screams get louder, the blood turns black. The darkness that we knew was foretold. But we can change it. We can turn it into gold. We can stop the hatred from sickening our souls. We have the means because love is on our side, always, forever, and now. We've all given permission for the bullies to misbehave, supporting them with silence, reticence, and shame. It's time to raise our sword, time to show our might, to throw back the curtain and let in the light. 'Cause mindlessly we turn away, the heart is stopped, the skin is cold, as we watch this tragedy unfold. And endlessly we turn our backs, as the screams get louder, the blood turns black. The darkness that we knew was foretold. But we can change it. Turn it into gold. We can stop the hatred from sickening our souls. We have the means because love is on our side, always, forever, and now. Thank you. So, one of the things that is still happening, one of the darkest parts of our lives right now, is the continuation of the proliferation of guns in this country and the world, but in our country. Since March 16th, there have been 45 mass shootings in a month and a half. A mass shooting is defined as 4 or more people being killed. 45 since March 16th. And since the beginning of this year, 147 mass shootings. That is unconscionable, unbelievable, egregious, but unfortunately true. We need to do something about this. I think this administration will work hard on it. But there's so much to deal with. It's not just about the guns, it is about mental illness and dealing with that. I wrote this song many years ago now, when we didn't think this would continue. I wrote this right after the shooting in Orlando at the nightclub called The Pulse. 50 killed and just as many wounded deeply. Deeply wounded is the way that we are feeling. You wake one morning and you don't move quite as freely. Hearts all broken and spirits torn and reeling. But what possessed a man to take so many with him? When you hate yourself, why can't that be enough? But hatred grows, devouring all, so greedy, strangling all but the tremendous power of love. Saturday night and the music's pulsing loudly, loudly pulsing to the beat of celebration. The time to stand so tall and be yourself, when a man walked in with a plan of annihilation. What right has he to choose who lives or dies here? Isn't taking just your own life quite enough? But hatred grows, devouring all so cowardly, strangling all but the tremendous power of love. So take these guns out far beyond the deepest ocean, and take your bigotry and toss it in the sea. Let it drown beneath your darkest dead emotions. Let it go, so we can once again feel free. 50 killed and just as many wounded deeply. Deeply wounded is the way that we are feeling. You wake one morning and you don't move quite as freely. Hearts all broken and spirits torn and reeling. But what possessed a man to take so many with him? When you hate yourself, why can't that be enough? The hatred grows, devouring all so greedy, strangling all but the tremendous power of love. Hatred grows, devouring all so greedy, strangling all but the tremendous power of love. Let us stand tall through the tremendous power of love. Thank you. Watched you walk away, and I watched us fall apart, and I wondered how I'd get through it, and how I'd ever regain my heart. But the sun still shines, and the rain still falls, and the moon comes out, and the birds still call, and forgiveness is a powerful thing. And I can still hear those words and sense the pain in my heart. But I don't lie awake any longer, wondering how it all came apart. 'Cause the sun still shines, and the rain still falls, and the moon comes out, and the birds still call, and forgiveness is a powerful thing. And I wish you the best, I wish you so well, and I hope you never ever have to go through that hell. But the beautiful thing is that hell isn't real, it's when you're caught between the prayer and the wheel. And because I let you go, my stilled heart started anew. And because I didn't let my sorrow linger, I found a whole new world and a love so true. 'Cause the sun still shines and the rain still falls and the moon comes out and the birds still call, and forgiveness is a powerful thing. And I wish you the best, I wish you so well, and I hope you never ever have to go through that hell. But the beautiful thing is that hell isn't real. It's when you're caught between the prayer and the wheel. 'Cause the sun still shines and the rain still falls and the moon comes out and the birds still call, and forgiveness is a powerful thing. Thank you. Thank you so much. I have one more song for you. Again, I just appreciate your attendance so much. I know there's a lot going on. It's a Saturday night. A lot of online shows, but also people are starting to move out into the world. So, which is a wonderful thing. So if you chose to be here with me tonight, I truly appreciate that. And I want to thank Barry from Lakeview Concerts and Ivy Cord for all your help tonight in promoting the show. I look forward to coming back up into the Northeast and playing live for you all, and that'll happen. Just don't know when yet, but that'll happen, and you will know. Go to my website, tretfure.com, to find out about my online shows or when I will be playing live again. You can sign up on my mailing list and get my newsletter, which I send out once a month. Liz, thank you so much, and all the board, all the people from Linden Tree Coffeehouse. Brian, thank you for your wonderful work putting this together. I have another show on May 13th. Is either my last or my second to the last live from home concert that I will be doing before the fall. And then I have one more other online concert on June 4th. It's a Pride event with Kip and Martin and Abby Posner. And that is all on my website. You can find out about those things as well. So thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with one other pandemic song. It's my my throwback to my rock years. It's called Across the Room. I can't hear you from across the room. I can't see you from across the room. How can I feel you from across the room? Across the room. I can't hold you from across the room. I can barely find you across the room. It's impossible to hold your hand across the room. Across the room. Is this the new norm? Not my normal, not my choice, not my room. I don't want to live so far from you and only get to see you on Zoom. I was getting comfortable next to you. All my life I've wanted to be next to you. Now I can't even walk over to be next to you. You're across the room. At least I can sing to you from across the room. And you can tell me stories from across the room. But I wish that I could hug you from across the room. Across the room. For me it's inconvenient while people are crying. The magnitude is brutal, people are dying. Trying to be truthful while others are lying. And I only want to see you. Is this the new norm? Not my normal, not my choice, not my room. I don't want to live so far from you and only get to see you on Zoom. Thank you. Woo! Thank you so much.
Oh, hi. Thank you. I didn't know I was on.
You are. You're
Need a
right
little
here.
signal. But I quickly want to say thank you to Barry from Lakeview and Martha from Ivy Court for joining in the fun tonight, and Brian for tech, because obviously I couldn't do that, and Kevin and Bob for your video, and I think everybody is clapping and would like you to do at least one more before we say
Oh.
goodnight.
Sure, I could do one more. Yeah, why not? And then we'll say goodnight. Let's see. I will do a song that is my usual encore when I am performing live. And this is from my Roses in November CD. It's called In This Circle. And I send this out to all of you as we maneuver and make our way through these times to find light again. I am sitting in this circle with my humble guides, surrounded by the ones I love, protected on all sides, breathing out and breathing in, and holding all that's fine. Though the world around me shatters, I center on this time. If for just one moment we are still, beneath the dark and the dreary, if we could shine a light so strong, we may not feel so weary. For just one moment we are still, beneath the dark and the dreary. If we could shine a light so strong, may not feel so weary. Breathing out and breathing in, and holding all that's fine. Though the world around me shatters, I center on this time, for I am sitting in this circle with my humble guides, surrounded by the ones I love, protected on all sides. Thank you so very much for spending this time with me. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so good to see you.
You too.
I'll see you up here sometime soon, I hope.
Absolutely. So,
And
indeed.
thank you, everybody, for being on with us tonight. It
Yeah.
was great.